And this morning, so does Nick Clegg. He's taking to the airwaves, the Deputy Prime Minister. He will co-host his radio show, all because he wants to be more in touch with the public. Let's go to Mark Pack. Mark is the co-editor of Lib Dem Voice, and he joins us this morning. And I suppose, Mark, this gives the Lib Dems a voice, however controversial, but it is a bit of a gamble, is it not?
Oh, it's always a gamble when politicians expose themselves to the public to sort of questioning, and particularly in a format like one of the sort of phone-in shows on the radio, which are often quite rumbustious. But it's also the case that, you know, if you're a politician, if you get up, you make a speech in Parliament, not very many people pay attention. So I think it's quite sensible for politicians like Nick Clegg to be sort of taking themselves out to where the public are on things like popular radio shows and so on, rather than expecting the public to come to them.
Well, what would you say to people who would say, isn't it a bit beneath the office of Deputy Prime Minister?
I would say it's nonsense. I mean, I think there is a little bit of snobbishness sometimes about radio that people in the newspaper industry, or even, dare I say, sometimes the TV industry as well, do look down a little bit on radio. But radio is an exceedingly popular format. And, of course, these days, all sorts of, TV, newspapers, radio are all desperate for shows that involve some level of audience interaction. So I think a radio phone-in show is very much a good format for a politician to be using.
You're absolutely right. But you see, newspapers or television or radio, they're also desperate for an audience and for ratings, and politics notoriously is a bit of a switch off. What if it is a ratings disaster? How embarrassing will that be if LBC have to drop it?
That clearly would be embarrassing if that were to happen. And obviously LBC are taking a little bit of a gamble in that respect. I think one of the reasons probably they've taken the gamble is that LBC, although it's a London radio station, it's also broadcast on the internet. So this is an opportunity for them to reach out to an audience outside London. I suspect there'll be a lot of people interested in politics all around the country, for example, who will be going to the LBC website, maybe even for the first time in their lives this morning, to sort of catch that Nick Clegg show. So from that point of view, it could be quite a smart move for LBC.
It's 9 o'clock on here in LBC. It's the Nick Clegg show. You've just said it there. It has a certain ring to it. You think this is a job audition for after the next election?
I suspect after the next election, Nick Clegg will be still leader of the Democrats and quite possibly have another hung parliament in government again. But, who knows what he might do 20, 30 years down the road. Well,
as for questions, Charlotte's been engaged, and Charlotte put out a tweet this morning, and she said, if Nick Clegg appeared on the radio, what would you like to ask him? And here's a few samples of those, Mark.
Yeah, they're quite brutal, actually. One from Richard. How would he respond to the statement he single-handedly destroyed the Lib Dems through turncoat action and lies? Another one here, I'd ask him, how come we're billions in debt but still give billions away in aid? Sort this country out. And another one here from Guy. Why has government let Whitehall hollow out almost all its pledges on civil liberties and deregulation? And it goes on.
And do you sense that there's a bit of anger so that people want to get at him?
Yeah, I think so. And it just seems like they're, bringing up any issue that they can possibly do, and that will all be targeted his way.
Is he at his best, Mark? Does he perform better when he's under attack?
Very much so. Many of the best performances I've seen him give have been when he's been giving public meetings, which he does very regularly at the moment, and he gets asked a tough question. And I think, if you get asked an easy question, in a way you can feel you've got out of the interview, you didn't make a blunder, job done. But if you actually want to persuade people, if you want to have people think that you've got a real passion, that you've got a real answer to difficult problems, actually the tough questions are often the best way of doing that.
You guys are getting all very excited, I suppose, in politics land as we approach 9 o'clock this morning, yeah?
Oh, definitely. I mean, this is an interesting departure. I mean, I think we shouldn't get overexcited in the sense that it's simply a politician appearing on the radio. But I think it is an interesting departure, and I think it's great that LBC have decided to take this, obviously, what is a bit of a gamble for them, because how we're run, holding our politicians to account, what the government is doing in our name, all those things are really important issues, and it's good that LBC is giving some airtime to that.
And there are a number of ways of getting that airtime. Mark, as I say goodbye to you, I'm going to explain to people how they can actually tune into this as well. Thank you very much indeed. Mark Pack is the co-editor of Lib Dem Voice.